Hello again, and welcome to our today's discussion. We are talking again about children and specifically giving responsibilities to children, the responsibilities that belong to adults, or giving a child responsibilities, the responsibility that belong to you as a parent. Growing up, I know we have experiences. This is more common with firstborns who say, was given the responsibility to take care of my younger siblings. But in some setups, even the middle children were still expected to take care of their own younger ones. And as you notice, if you are raised in that setup, in that kind of a setup with those kind of responsibilities, you grew up to take care of probably a larger population, people you shouldn't even take care of in the first place, because what got reinforced in you is it is your responsibility to care for others. It is even more difficult if your parents were taking care of other children who were not their children, because what happens in this case? What happens is you grow up believing that it is your responsibility, or it is the responsibility of the person who seems older or seems able to take care of others who seem young or seem not as capable. This is a good thing the society does, but it is only good within limits, where people learn to extend their hand and take care of others. But it is also a negative thing because they are not provided with limits. When and up to what point do you help? So children grow up knowing that helping others is their responsibility, which is a very negative concept. In return, these children, when adults, carry so much of the load of the world. Oftentimes they meet with people who use them. They become enablers to behaviors because they keep thinking it is their responsibility to take care of the other, to rescue the other who is in trouble, to save the other from their own insufficiencies. And they take in too much that they need to take in for life. But how is this behavior built? See, when you have children, say below 10, or even a teenage and others are below 10, and you keep repeating to the older children that it is your responsibility to care for your siblings, ensure that they are fine, ensure that they are safe, the firstborn assimilates this responsibility, which is ideally a parent's responsibility, as theirs. And they continue to do it through life. By the time they are adults and their parents, they are already too tired of doing this, but they continue to do it because this is what was programmed in them. This is the behavior that was reinforced. This is what was conditioned in them as a normal behavior. Most of the time, they end up being used wrongly. There are setups, again, where parents innocently ask an older child, say 10 years, to not fight with the younger one who is 5, and they say, you can't fight with your sibling. You see, they are the baby. You need to understand them. You need to be considerate to them. You need to give them that because they are the baby. And sometimes when snacks are left, or when fruits are left, or when something that the 2 children or the 3 children value, the older one sacrifice for the younger one. I'm not talking about a month-old baby. I'm talking about probably a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old. So the 10-year-old learns or is taught to sacrifice for the 2-year-old. The 10-year-old is taught to sacrifice for the 5-year-old. The 7-year-old is taught to sacrifice for the 4-year-old. And they are both children. I believe the ideal setup would be let them share. They are both children. If they share equally, the younger one will still have a bigger portion for his age, but that is a fairness. That's okay. In setups where you feel that the older one needs to understand the younger one, and therefore they do not need to fight with them, sibling rivalry is a natural occurrence. It is very normal. It is real. How you help them solve the sibling rivalry is not by making the older one give up their rights for the younger one. It is by helping both of them realize that they have the capacity to resolve issues within themselves. And if the sibling rivalry is going to the point of pain and hurt, then the parent needs to listen to both of them. Even the younger child can be wrong. And if the younger child is wrong, then it needs to be communicated as such, so that the older one is not feeling like they need to mature. They need to be the older one. They need to be the one that has to practically behave so that they can be peace at home. Because what you're teaching them, in case that is the concept you pass to your children, you are telling them that even through life, it is okay for them to be discriminated upon. It is okay for them to not value their needs, because they have to give up their needs for their little ones. Throughout life, they have to continually give up their rights or their needs to someone else who they feel is more deserving. So how do you go about it as a parent? Ensure there is fairness. If they are fighting, check to see, equip them with skills of how to handle their conflicts, but also help the younger one to realize that sometimes they will need to wait for the older to finish, then they hand it over to them. So help them to resolve an issue from a neutral point of view, not from you are the older one, give up your right, you are the one who is older, don't fight with the baby, be responsible because you're the one who has more understanding, you can do better because you're older, or sometimes compare that. You who is 10 years and the other child who is 10 years, the 10-year-old feeds their baby, you don't even know how to do that. You are making a child to be responsible over another. And while it is okay for children to learn to help each other, because that is how life is, you will get helped, you will help. You will need to go out for someone else will need to go out for you. But as children, let them know also that they are children. I am of the opinion that if you cannot afford something for the 3 children, then do not bring any child. Let all of them have none of it. And I'm talking about a toy that they can share. If you're bringing a toy to share, then communicate that I have brought this toy. It belongs to the 3 of you and you all can share. But it's different from when you have to bring for the baby who is 3-year-old, the 5-year-old exists, the 7-year-old exists. They will grow feeling that your favorite is the younger one because they're the one you prefer. So while in the adult mind, the more you grow, the more you understand, the more you become responsible, the more you need to look at the younger child. I'd want the parents to understand that for children, especially below 7 years, they're extremely egocentric. At least at adolescent, they have started to understand that it is simply not about them. But still, they would want everything for them. So if you're dealing with children, then you're dealing with children. Look at them as children of different ages, not as an adult, as one is more responsible, as one needs to fix the other, as one needs to care for the needs of the other, as one that needs to give up the need for the other one to be okay, as one that needs to step back so that the other one can do certain things and thrive. No, look at them as equal children who all need attention, who all need your listening, who all need your correction, who all need your intervention, who all need your time. And that way, you will raise children who feel that none of them is preferred than the other. So ideally, sometimes when you are saying children feel unloved and they keep saying you love one over the other, is because of some of these things that are done by you very unintentionally. But to the children, they are interpreted to mean something else altogether. Thank you for watching us. Feel free to share with us the topics that you'd want us to address, and we will gladly do so as we continue to engage and interact.